Hey guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to the channel. Tonight what we're going to be doing is modding this Steeldive SD1922 and we're going to be dial swapping it. And so I don't know if I'd call him a customer, a gentleman here locally had asked me to mod one of these. He wanted kind of an Explorer 2 look, but he didn't want that Steeldive logo. And so that may be a controversial thing to do, but we're going to be swapping it to a Seiko logo dial. Feel how you may about that. That's what he asked me to do, and that's what I'm going to do for him. So I already took it off the bracelet to save you the hassle of watching me have to do that. And now let's get this thing uncased. If I can ever so gently pop this back off. Why, that does not want to go, does it? I had another one of these that was really tight. Like crazy tight. A little nervous about scratching it, but okay, I can feel it going. It's going. That must be why they claim these things are 300 meters water resistant, because it just cranked the case backs down. All right, so let's open this bad boy up. By the way, I do like this case back. I don't love that logo, but I like the shape and the look of that case back. Not that anybody pays attention to those or really sees it, but it's cool looking. So there we go. I'll set that off to the side. And I forgot my grease, so I'm gonna go grab that. I'll be right back. All right, so I grabbed my gasket grease and we're gonna take that gasket out and we're just gonna put it safely in the grease. There we go. Then what I like to do too is I like to put the case back on top of that so that it just is all in one place. All right, so now let's get this crown out. We're gonna uncase this movement. There we go. All right. Set that off to the side. I'm gonna adjust my camera just a little bit. There we go. That's better. All right. Now what you guys might have just got a flash of was the Heimdallr Marine Master 300, and I'm going to do a video on that pretty soon. So come back for that video. Okay. Let's dump this movement out. This part always makes me nervous. Come on, buddy. A little bit. Come on. We just want you out of there safely. That's all we want. Come on. Oh boy, it's gonna be really stubborn. So sometimes you gotta kind of get your tool up. There we go. You gotta just lift an edge up sometimes. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna set this case on this little cloth and we're gonna keep that open side down so that we're not getting dust and debris in there while we're doing this whole thing. All right, so now we are going to pull these hands off. And so I'm gonna do that very, very carefully, even though, oh, you know what? Almost forgot a step. We got to put this crown back in because we're going to need that. Okay. Why is this being weird? Oh, it's the date change. There we go. Okay. I am going to engage that and think I am going to put it in this movement holder. And I'm going to let this second hand spin around until it lines up with all those hands. Now I am going to try to do this as carefully as possible, even though that dial doesn't really matter. I'm not too worried about trying to save that, although it's a good dial, so I might hang on to it in case I have a project later or whatever. I don't know. So once that hand is there, I'm going to hack the movement. Come on. All right, close enough. So then I'm going to take this bag. This is my little hand puller here. And again, I want to be very gentle with these hands because I am going to reuse the hands. And so some of those pop off. Nope. Oh, that was kind of reckless, tipping it upside down in the movement holder like that. It's going to get me in trouble. Okay. Some of the hands came off there, not all of them. I'll just get my Rodico here. Oh. So the second hand is still in place, but I think the minute hand came off. Yep, it did. Look at that. That's really annoying. I need to be delicate with these hands because I don't have a backup, which was kind of silly, to be perfectly honest. Okay, there we go. Some of them came off, hopefully undamaged. There is the second hand. There is the minute hand. The hour and the GMT hand are still on there. That's okay. I kind of line those up again. It's kind of a thick hand stack, and so I'm not too surprised that this tool had a hard time getting around all of that. There we go. Nailed it. So we'll just gently set all these aside. I like using Rodico to pick stuff up. Just works very well. Excuse me, clearing my throat. I'm getting over something here, so that's why my voice seems a little raspy. So now what we're gonna do is pull this dial off, and to do that, I normally have a little flathead screwdriver, but I've got this little spring bar tool, and that's gonna be pretty similar in function. So just get it under the edge there and work that dial free, popping those dial feet out. Again, I'm less concerned about this dial. Okay, I think that is free. So I'm gonna put that back in the movement, or the movement holder, sorry. So again, these are pretty nice dials for such a budget watch, you know. And again, I hate to just throw this away when it looks nice. I mean, that's a good dial. It just has a kind of blah logo on there, you know, but whatever. We're gonna set that aside for now. All right, so here's the I'm just getting all my words mixed up. Here's the dial we're gonna replace that with, and it looks, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same, except for some small differences. So let's get these side by side and take a look. It's hard to see on camera, but with the naked eye, it is very obvious that this is kind of glossy. You can see that reflection. And this is kind of a matte finish. And this Seiko logo dial is a matte finish, and it is much more silver. This is white. This is like white, like porcelain white. And this is much better looking. It is like a silvery white with a matte finish. It is actually a gorgeous dial. That is so nice looking. Now, what we do have to do, this one has 6 feet on the back, 6 dial feet, and we only need 2 of those. So we're gonna have to cut some of those off, and let's figure out which ones we are going to cut off. Oh boy, this Seiko dial is smaller. It feels smaller in my fingers. That might not be good. Let's again figure out what dial feet we need. Okay, so we need the top one on the right side and the bottom one on the left side. So I'm gonna go cut those off. I'll be back, and then we'll see about this. The size of this dial. I'm a little bit nervous it's not going to fit in that case. All right, so we got those ground off. I snipped them with my little crown stem snipper, and then I use my Dremel to grind those down. It's pretty straightforward, but I like to do that in the garage. Whatever you do, don't blow this off over the movement. I try to remember that every time, but I always seem to. That looks good. All right, so let's fit this on here and hope we did it right. Oh, come on. There we go. That looks good. It's on there nice. I just am, this dial, it's hard to see, but around that outside edge, there's more space there, and hopefully that doesn't matter. First of all, I'm gonna secure this dial in this little dial box. Like I said, it's a nice dial, and we want to take care of it, just in case I have to reuse it. So now let's pull this crown stem, and we're gonna put this in the case to see, just to see if it fits and that there's not a gap around the, I don't think there's gonna be. Okay, so that's kind of in there, just not all the way, but there's no gap. I'm happy with that. It looks good. Okay, I feel much better now. Come on, let's get you out of there. It's kind of annoying when these fit so snugly, but it is kind of reassuring. There we go. All right. We'll put this crown back in, or the stem back in. Okay. Nope, that didn't engage. Sometimes these are, there we go. Nope, that doesn't want to engage in there. What is going on here? There we go. That's better. Okay. So hack the movement again. Put it in the movement holder. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna spin this until that date changes, and that's our midnight. Again, this isn't meant to be a full-on instructional video, more of just I'm doing this mod, and I thought you guys would want to watch. Sometimes it's just relaxing to watch. All right, so there, that date's starting to change, if you can see it. Now we'll go slowly. Click. All right, that's our midnight. So now what we need to do is get this GMT hand on here, and this is going to be the real pain. So we'll get it on there most of the way. I've got this hand press, but the tip on there I don't think is going to fit around that GMT hand. Let me take a look here. Let me see if it'll fit in there. Nope. It's not going to. All right, so we're gonna have to do it the hard way. Oh boy, I got that on there almost exactly midnight. So I don't have a hand pusher that will fit around that GMT hand. So what I have to do is take 2 hand pushers and push down on either side and try to do it evenly and consistently. And it's tricky. It is not easy to do. And you have to kind of get it started and then nudge it over until it's the exact right time. One of my pet peeves is if that GMT hand is not perfect, even though it, like, you really don't notice it. It's just my thing. All right, so now, sorry, I don't have more camera angles of this. Like, there's a couple of guys, Elliot Carroll, I think is his name, and it's another watch. They do some of these videos and they are great. They're, oh, see. But they have great camera angles and much better narration than me, but we're working on it. I'm gonna try to get a nicer camera here soon. Oh, see, now it's kind of engaged on that side and it's out of place. And I'm gonna have to use my hand pullers to pull that off again, because once it's on there, if you notice, you can try to nudge it over a little bit, but it just kind of bounces back. And so I can't live with that, no. This is gonna be for somebody that's not me, and so I have to make sure that it is right and that it looks good. Okay, got it pulled off of there. I don't want to have to do that again because you risk damaging the joint where that, or the socket where that sits on the pinion. Oh boy. These GMT hands are tricky. Okay, that looks really good. Now I just have to press it in. This part is honestly so hard. Everyone talks about the second hand being the hard part. No, doing a GMT hand with the wrong tools is harder. One of these days I'll get better tools. See, and that's, it's just not quite at the midnight there. I wonder if I can, that worked. That did nudge it over. That doesn't often work. So we want to press that on tight enough. Now I'm going to look at it through my loop. Oh, that's got to go. That's got to go on. Much better. Actually, this side's got to go down more. Okay. I think that was good. That looks good. And these GMT hands are so tricky because you have to have enough clearance there. And so this one does, and it looks good, but it's gonna be hard to tell until I get the hour hand on. I might have to go down a little bit more. And this is just always feels so risky. Oh boy. There's enough clearance. It's not perfectly at the 12 o'clock. Let's see if I can nudge it. Oh, that did it. And the last thing I want to do is ding up this dial because it is so nice looking. All right, that looks good. We're gonna stick with that. It feels like it's just off the midnight, but I think that I can, let's see here, spin that all the way around. Let's see, there's good clearance. I need to get a better movement holder. This thing gets a little floppy sometimes, so I have to be gentle. All right, it's gonna come up to the midnight. Date's changing. Oh, that's beautiful. Date changed exactly at midnight. All right, I am happy with that. All right, now we're gonna do this hour hand. Get that on there. I think this one I'll be able to use this hand press if I keep everything in frame. What are you doing, buddy? Oh, that wasn't what I was trying to do, but it worked. Let's see which one of these is my, I think it's this one. Just get it in place. All right, that looks good. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame when I'm doing all this, but it's tough sometimes. That looks pretty good. It is not perfect, but, well, might be close to perfect. Oh, that looks great. And give it just another little, that was probably too much. There we go. All right, so now we'll use this really janky Amazon hand press, but it works pretty good for the most part. Let's see how that did. Oh boy, that is not a lot of room. Where is my manual? Why do I feel like I can never find the one with the right size? There it is. Okay. Wanted to put a little bit more pressure on the downward side, or on the opposite side from the hand, because I wanted to tilt the tip of it up just a little bit, give it a little bit more clearance, and that worked pretty good. Now I'm just gonna go push it a little bit more. Such a fine line between enough clearance and too much. All right, that looks great. Oh, that looks really good. And they're all lined up at midnight. Let's spin it around again and see. All right, so there is the 6 o'clock, and it lines up at the 3. I'm gonna spin it till noon. Okay, so that is noon, and that lines up really good. I am very happy with that. Spin it around again. That looks good. The GMT hand's not perfect, but it'll do. Come back to midnight, and date's gonna roll over. Click OK. That looks really good. I'm okay with that. So now let's get the minute hand on here. Oh my goodness. These hands can be a real pain to work with. And again, when you have a stack of hands this deep, it starts to be a lot. Which one is my minute hand press? I don't think it really even matters anymore. So, I know what I could do is spin it around so that the hour hand was at 6 and then line this up at 12, but I don't like to do that for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. Let's get that started. Oh, that looks really good. Oh, that looks so good. That is nearly perfect. I'm gonna give it just enough of a press again that I'll probably screw it up. It's really hard trying to give it even square pressure as you're pushing down on that, so you don't push it too hard in one direction or the other. That still looks great. The second hand might be, let's just spin everything around. See how it comes back at midnight. Oh, that's really good. Might be hard to see. Those are pretty good, but the tip of that minute hand is pretty high. But I don't have much of a choice. Now, let's get the second hand going. Let's see if I can do this without my loop. There we go. That is on. Now I'm just gonna push it down a little bit. Not too much. That looks good, although, oh my God. I can tell that counterbalance is too low. I must have bent it down when I was pulling the hands off. But let's do this little trick I learned from It's Another Watch. We're just gonna flex that up a little bit with something soft and gentle. That was entirely too far. That second hand is very delicate. Bang my forehead on the camera. Oh boy. Give it just a little bit. As you can tell, my table here has a slight slope to it. All right, let's spin those around. Everything clears the second hand, everything clears the indices. Let's see what it does when it comes back to midnight. Hopefully everything lines back up again. I'm sure it will. Here we go. Beautiful. Now, let's make sure that second hand clears while it's running. Oh God, that's really close. That was so close. That was very, very close. I'm gonna give this minute hand just a little bit of a press to try to flex that tip down without screwing everything up. Okay, let's see now. We gotta see if the counterbalance hits. Counterbalance cleared, so that's good. All right, let's see how that looks. Sorry, I'm real close to my camera here. Is it gonna clear? Just by the narrowest of margins. I'm going to, off camera, I'm gonna look at this a little bit closer under my loop. All right, looking at everything again off camera, under my loop, everything was fine. It lined up good. My temptation is to push down the tips of those hour and minute hands, but everything clears and works, and I don't really want to mess with that. Like, when you're looking at it through the crystal of the watch, you're not going to see that those have an ever so slight tip up. And I've learned that you sometimes can't just keep going, because what'll happen is you'll try to get it perfect and you'll just make it worse. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna again take a look at this through the loop, and we're gonna blow off any fuzz and dust and dog hair, cat hair. I currently have a dog and a cat sleeping on the couch right next to me. This is my coffee table I'm working on. My dog is snoring just a little bit. Oh, that dial looks great. So now we are going to move this onto the movement pad, and we're gonna re-engage the crown, pull the stem. Everybody's got their own way of doing this. It's very tricky to get that crown stem out of there, but that seems to work for me. It's kind of setting it on its edge and using my tweezers to depress that little lever and then pulling it out. So now we're gonna blow out this case, and we're gonna take a look through the loop just to make sure, and that looks good. I don't think we've got, well, sometimes it's so hard to tell what's on the inside and what's on the outside. I'm gonna give the outside a little wipe so that we can see better. Okay. I am very happy with that, I think. Yeah, that looks great. So we're gonna pop it in the case, gently flip it over, and give this a little press. Okay. So that is in there, nice and secure. I like to press kind of all the way around and make sure, but you have to be careful when you're near that balance wheel. So I can already tell this is not quite where it needs to be. So we are going to, there we go. Let's see if this crown will go back in. There we go. Okay. Make sure that that all lines up. That looks good. Looks like it's in there nice and square. Now there's nothing on the rehot or the chapter ring. I guess the chapter ring's printed on the dial, but there's nothing on the rehot, like on some that have the chapter ring on the rehot. And so it's less obvious if it's in there perfectly at 12, right? but that looks good. You know, with the numbers on the bezel there, there's not one right at 12 midnight. But what you can do is look at those little triangles, and you're gonna line those up at the 2.5 minute mark, and that looks pretty good. You know, does it? I'm gonna push that movement just a little bit. Gonna give it just a little nudge like that. Probably didn't do much, but I feel better about that. All right, so we're gonna screw that crown in. The nice thing about modding these is that the crown and everything's already cut, or the crown stem, it's already cut, so I don't have to mess with it. So that's great. There's no measuring it, cutting it a bunch, and all that shenanigans. So now I'm gonna blow this out again, and we're gonna get our case back gasket out here, and get that in place. This is a step you want to be very careful about, because this is the main waterproofing for this watch, is this case back gasket. And so you want to make absolutely sure that it is in the right groove, and that is nice and pressed down, and that it's not going to be bind up or anything like that. So I always double check, and I make sure that is seated nicely, because if you screw that up, you can, when you screw the case back down, you can pinch that gasket and you can actually damage it or cut it. Or what can happen is it'll pinch it and cause a little kink, and you might not notice it, but now your case back gasket is kinked and the watch is not gonna be water resistant to the same degree that it should be. So now I'm gonna gently put this case back on without cross threading it. That feels great. Take my case back tool here. Screw that down nice and snug. All right, that looks great. I'm super happy with that. Everything lines up. Everything seems to work. Yeah, that is fantastic. There is noon. You can see that GMT hand is ever so slightly off, but that's not a big deal. That is really not. We're gonna come back to midnight. Yeah, that's good. All right. I'm going to get this bracelet back on here. We'll get these finger cuts off. My fat sausage fingers, they start to dig in on my thumbs, and it's, yeah, my hands are kind of puffy lately. We're gonna get these off. We'll get the bracelet on here. I'm gonna do that off camera because it's always just kind of a mess. And then we'll give you a better look at this whole thing together. All right, we're gonna give this guy a wipe, and here's the final reveal. Not that you haven't seen it already, but there it is in all its glory. I'm not gonna size this one currently because it's gonna be going to somebody else, but pretty generous on the bracelet sizing here. I can fit 3 fingers in there. I have an 8¼ inch wrist, which is pretty big. I have a tough time sometimes with bracelets and watch straps for sure. Straps I have a really hard time with. But anyways, that looks phenomenal. And so, such a clean look. That Seiko dial looks beautiful. That flat silver just looks so much better than the gloss white. That gloss white is fine, but it just looked kind of cheap. And this looks so good. I set that time to our local time. It is late at night, because that's when I do these videos, because my wife is asleep, or in bed at least. And then I set that GMT hand to Maui time. And so I do that because first of all, Maui, if you see my other videos, Maui's a special place for me. I love it. And it means there's a lot of memories there. And then I set that GMT hand to Maui time, unless I need to track something else, because that way when I'm sitting at my desk at work and I'm in between clients and doing stuff and busy, I can look at that GMT hand for just a second and let my mind take a little drift to the beaches there, and just kind of like a little mental vacation. And I find that really actually is a helpful thing sometimes when you're at work. But anyways, that's why I set my GMT hands to Maui time. So thank you guys for coming along on this mod build. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and like it. If you found it informational or entertaining at least, feel free to subscribe. There will be more build videos coming soon with all kinds of stuff. Like I said, this is a watch I'm going to be doing a review on soon. So if you want to see a Heimdallr Marine Master 300 review, come on back, because I'll be doing that one probably next. All right, as promised, here's that lume shot. So there's the factory dial, and there's the new dial. So you can see, actually the lume is probably brighter on the new one, but you can see the hands don't match. And that's one of the downsides with some of these AliExpress and Chinese parts. The lume is just, you don't always know what you're gonna get. Usually these Rolex style hands and dials are gonna be blue, because I believe that's what Rolex is, and the Seiko stuff is gonna be green, typically. But to what extent and how bright, you just don't know for sure. So let's charge that up one more time. Honestly, that's pretty impressive though. I am very pleased with that. I have definitely seen worse. Now, the mismatched could be seen as a negative, or it could be seen as a positive, because you've got the hour markers, the indices, and then the hands are different, right? So they're easily identifiable. Everyone's gonna have their own take. But again, I think that dial was worth it. It's just so much better looking. Let's hit it one more time. You can see that GMT hand glows orange under the black light. It's cool. Very pleased with how everything turned out.